So, a pleasant day to everyone. I am Princess Ella G. Torre, and I am going to discuss about the historical sites in the Philippines. So, we have here a quote from Abraham Lincoln: "The past is a doorway to the future." And did you agree with that? Let's just agree with it. And next is let us know what are the objectives of my report for today. First is to catalog and describe the historical sites in the Philippines. Second, to explore the architectural and cultural evolution of historical sites in the Philippines. Lastly, to encourage tourism and public engagement with historical sites in the Philippines by promoting awareness and appreciation of the historical and cultural value. So, what are historical sites? A historic site or heritage site is an official location where pieces of political, military, cultural, or social history have been preserved due to their cultural heritage value. Historic sites are usually protected by law, and many have been recognized with official historic status. So, the Philippines is a world famous tourist destination. Aside from its beautiful places and scenic tourist spots, it is also rich in history and culture. Filipinos built different landmarks and places to remember the outstanding sacrifices of national heroes and to be beautifully exhibit the country's heritage. These popular works of architecture can capture not only the eyes but also the hearts of the viewers. These historical sites are part of the tourism in the Philippines. And now let us proceed the first historical site in the Philippines, and this is Intramuros. So Intramuros is known in history as the walled city because of its famous feature, a nearly 3-mile long circuit of massive stone walls and fortifications that almost completely surrounds the entire district. It is the oldest district and historic core of Manila, where old Spanish era influences are still plentiful. Photography and history lovers will find Intramuros an interesting destination if you visit the place. You can still feel the Spanish ambience and appreciate the historical landmarks and churches in the area. This walled city is a sanctuary to the capital's iconic and historic sites constructed during the Spanish colonization of the Philippines. It is also among the most visited tourist spots in the Philippines. Many tourists visit Intramuros to grasp the past and see centuries old institutions because of their old world appeal. The name derived from the Spanish word for within walls, refers to the fort near the Pasig River downstream. This Manila city this Manila walled city was named after the Spanish conquistador Miguel Lopez de Legazpi. And let us all watch the
Let's wander the walled city of Manila. To enter, just pass under the eyes of St. James. You'll find a lot of plazas here and converted structures. Stories in every corner, sacred and historic. Many come for the history, but stay for the pockets of peace you'll find inside Manila's walls. Find your next
Now let's proceed to the second historic site. This is the Mactan Shrine. So the Mactan Shrine in Lapu-Lapu City, Cebu, was established in 1969 as National Shrine through Republic Act number 5695 during the administration of President Ferdinand Marcos. The site is believed to be the approximate location of the historic Battle of Mactan, which saw the defeat of the Spaniards led by explorer Ferdinand Magellan against Lapu-Lapu, the Datu of Mactan and his forces. The Mactan Shrine, located in Mactan Island in Cebu, is made in honor of Lapu-Lapu, Ferdinand Magellan, and the Battle of Mactan. It is also known as Liberty Shrine, and it lies on the very ground where the battle took place. The sad encounter was between the Spaniards, led by Ferdinand Magellan, and the locals, led by Lapu-Lapu. Ferdinand Magellan and his crew were the first people to introduce Christianity in the Philippines, in the quest to prove that the earth is not flat. He traveled the world and docked in Mactan, where he was eventually killed by Lapu-Lapu on April 27, 1521. Lapu-Lapu is recognized as the first native of the archipelago to have resisted the Spanish colonization. And now let us watch the short video tour of the said place. And that's it. And now let's proceed to the third one, and this is the Rizal Shrine. Rizal Shrine is an important historical place in Dapitan where Dr. Jose Rizal spent 4 years in exile. He lived here as a physician, merchant, farmer, inventor, painter, sculptor, archaeologist, linguist, grammarian, teacher, architect, poet, biologist, composer, surveyor, and environmentalist. He was also a father and brother to all the Pitanons, serving and helping those who needed him. No wonder Dr. Jose Rizal is considered as the Philippine national hero. These two-story stone and hardwood structure with narrow floors and red tile roof, the Rizal home has a spacious parlor with wide capiz shell windows, a library, dining room, three bedrooms, a kitchen, and pantry, leading out to a balcony. Located on the ground floor were the servants' quarters, workroom, and the storeroom for food supplies. The backyard was planted with various fruit trees, which Rizal frequently mentioned in his writings. And this is Ati, Santol, Tampoy, Makupa, Plum, Balimbing, and Kasoy. A small nipa hut served as the young Jose's hideaway. Rizal fondly recalled his childhood home in Calamba, longing for it like a weary swallow while he was traveling in Europe. Unfortunately, because of a land dispute with the Dominican friars, the Rizal family was evicted from their home in 1890, and the house soon after fell into disrepair and was demolished. The present structure was reconstructed in 1950 by national artist Juan F. Nakpil from funds donated by school children. The Museo ni Jose Rizal Calamba has 6 galleries featuring Rizal's early education, his travel abroad, and nationalist undertakings in Europe. So first is the Kaliwanagan focuses on Rizal's family and childhood in Calamba. Second, the Kapaligiran features the agricultural town of Calamba and its environs. Third, Karunungan focuses on Rizal's formal schooling at the Ateneo Municipal de Manila and Universidad de Santo Tomas. Bahay na Bato provides a glimpse into the Rizal home, its furniture and furnishings. Fifth, unang paglalakbay sa Europa centers on Rizal's initial journey to Europe on 1882 to 1887. He studies in Madrid, Spain, Paris, France, and Heidelberg, Germany. And the writing of his seminal novel, Nole Me Tangere. The last one, pangalawang paglalakbay sa Europa, discusses Rizal's second sojourn to Europe. in 1888 to 1892, focusing on his propaganda activities. His second novel, El Filibusterismo, and other political writings until his return to Manila in June 1892. The museo contains a sizable collection of Rizal's memorabilia, a hologram of Rizal reading a letter addressed to his Australian friend Dr. Ferdinand Blumentritt, and various interactive booths and terminals that offer information about Rizal in his time. Other facilities include an e-learning room for online history lessons. So now let us watch the Rizal Shrine features in his house.
So, ayan, puro kapis.
Isa din yung katangian ng mga bahay noon, yung mga bintana na kapis, no? Alam mo, sa buong mundo, dalawang lugar lang ang may kapis windows sa buong mundo, ha?
Saan yung isang lugar?
Goa sa India at Pilipinas. Pero tayo marami talaga. Ang Goa, maliit lang yan na bahagi ng India. Tayo isang bansa talaga na sa buong bansa ginagamit ang kapis windows, no? Wala nang ibang bansa na gumagamit
Oo
ito.
nga, hindi na kailangan ng mga kurtina.
Oo, yun.
Think of natural light.
Tama ka. Parang at the same time na hindi masyadong maliwanag, hindi masyadong mainit, pero hindi naman madilim, no? Ngayon, ito tayo sa sala. Maganda lang itong pag-isipan, no? Sala ito, sa pagkalam ko, ginagamit naman, ginagamit din para sa bisita, lalo mo may handaan, may piging, no? Pero, makita natin na ginagamit din ito, di ba sabi ko sa iyo multi-purpose ang mga kwarto noon, mga espasyo sa bahay, ginagamit din ito tulugan. Sa kasalukuyang interpretasyon tungkol sa bahay, sinasabi na ito yung silid ng mga babae.
Kung tutuusin, napakaliit ng silid na ito para sa mga kapatid na babae ni Pepe.
And I guess that was all. And now let's proceed to the next historic sites in the Philippines. And this is the famous Rizal Park. It is previously called Bagumbayan Field. Rizal Park or Luneta Park was built as a tribute to our greatest national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal. It is one of the leading historical sites in the Philippines, where Rizal was executed by the Spanish military firing squad on December 30, 1896, because he had spread the ideals of revolution against Spanish rule. Rizal Park has a size of 58 hectares or 580,000 square meters. It is one of the largest urban parks in the Asian continent, and it is juxtaposed to the historic walled city Intramuros. So, the Bagong Bayan, presently known as Rizal Park, is the location, as I've said, where Dr. Jose Rizal was executed in the Spanish firing squad on December 30, 1896. Subsequently, the death of Dr. Jose Rizal sparked the Philippine Revolution in the year 1896 against the Spanish rulers. In the year 1901, during the American colonial period of the Philippines, Rizal Monument was designed and constructed with the help of the Philippine Assembly Act number 243. It states that a monument shall be built in the public land and of Luneta in the honor and commemoration of the Philippine patriot, reformist, novel writer, and hero Jose Rizal. Rizal Park is divided into three parts. First is the northeastern part, which has a size of 16 hectares, and it includes the Teodora F. Valencia Circle, National Museum of Anthropology, and National Museum of Natural History. The second is the central part, which has a size of 22 hectares and is situated at Maria Orosa Street all the way to Rojas Boulevard. The central parts are home to the Rizal Monument. the Philippine National Flagpole, and the musical dancing fountain. The third and the last are the southwestern parts that have a size of approximately 10 hectares of open field, and it includes the Manila Ocean Park, Manila Bay, and Bornholm Green. And now let's know the history about the architectural design of this park. According to its illustrious history, Rizal Park was originally built in a vicious patch of area known as Paseo de la Luneta near Manila Bay in the year 1820 during the Spanish colonial period in the Philippines. Luneta Park came from the word lunet, which means a crescent-shaped structure used for fortifications in the 17th to 18th centuries. Formerly, the park was well known to many Filipinos as Bagong Bayan since 1601, and now Rizal Park or Luneta Park in present. And now let us watch the short tour about this place.
So yung Rizal's monument, as you notice, there are two guards there standing. Is it rain or shine? Nakandiyan sila. Galing, no? Parang yung mga royal guards, ganun. So, ayan, may nakaharang dito. Ibig sabihin, bawal pumunta sa loob. So, wag nyong subukan. No trespassing. I noticed a lot of people and no, a lot of photographers here. Ito yung mga tinatawag mga traditional photographers. So you get to have a printout of your pictures with this background, beautiful background. It's 50 pesos. So ayan guys, dito ang daming ditong nagjo-jogging, ganon. So you can even see bicycles here. So yung mga cyclists, this is a very big park. You can do picnic, you can bring your food, cook at home and bring it here. No smoking, no vaping allowed here.
So I guess that
So
was
yung
all.
Rizal
It was cut because I think the PPT has its limited time only for video presentation. So next, let's proceed to the fifth one, and this is the Corregidor Island. So Corregidor Island are known to be the Rock. Let us know why is it the Rock. Corregidor is known for its important historical attractions. When the Japanese invaded the Philippines, Corregidor became the headquarters of the Allied forces and also the seat of Philippine Commonwealth government. The huge firearms of Corregidor, which are used in support for Filipino and American defenders of Bataan, are now silent, but the damage seen on buildings, structures, and tunnels in the said island continues on telling a very moving story of a war that has claimed so many lives. A visit to this former battleground is a memorable experience, especially for those people who value and cherish freedom and peace. So this small 2 square mile or 5 square kilometer island, part of the province of Cavite, has long been considered a natural fortress. The Spanish fortified it in the 18th century when it was used as a registration site for ships entering the bay. After the Spanish American War, the island became a U.S. military station, and an elaborate system of tunnels and emplacements was constructed. When Japan invaded the Philippines December 1941, General Douglas MacArthur chose Bataan and Corregidor Island as his major defense position. Bataan fell on April 9, 1942, and Corregidor Island became the last outpost of organized resistance in the islands. Lieutenant General Jonathan Wainwright and his forces repelled the invaders for 27 days until May 6, 1942. When they were forced to surrender Corregidor Island to Lieutenant General Homa Masaharu, U.S. forces regained the island in 1945. So let us take a look at this little island's unique features that make it our country's unofficial symbol of resiliency. The Malanta Tunnel. The Melinda Tunnel was the last military stronghold of the Allied forces before their surrender to the Japanese. Built in a decade, the tunnel is named after the leeches found in the area during its construction. The Melinda Tunnel became a successful hideout during the war of its design. Due to its arc shape and solid concrete construction, its structure is able to resist damage from external forces. It can easily outlast buildings built with columns and beams. Dug through a mountain, the tunnel is further protected by compact soil and rich foliage. Today, the Malinta Tunnel hosts a lights and sounds show designed by national artist Lamberto V. Avellana. At night, it turns into the ghost hunter's domain, providing an eerie setup that can make the skin crawl. For all its usefulness, the tunnel has endured time and will probably last for many years more. And that is the Corregidor Island. It sounds so creepy because of its past. By it said that they claimed so many lives during the said war. And now let's watch this.
Corregidor Island, located in the Philippines, holds significant historical importance as it was a prominent location during World War II. The remnants of war, such as abandoned hospitals, structures damaged by bombs, and mysterious tunnels, create an unmistakable atmosphere that evokes a somber feeling. Among the eerie locations on the island, the old Corregidor Hospital and Malinta Tunnel stand out as the most haunted spots. These places were utilized as treatment facilities during the war and were subject to Japanese bombings. It wouldn't be unexpected to hear echoes of cries and footsteps resonating through the ruins.
And I guess that was all the Corregidor Island. And now let us proceed to the Barasuan Church. So, having earned the title as the cradle of democracy in the East, Barasuan Church is the most important religious building in the Philippines. It was founded by the Augustinian missionaries in 1859 and served as the session hall of Malolos Congress, the first congress in the Philippines, which was held in September 15, 1898 under the presidency of Pedro Paterno. Three major events in the Philippine history happened in the church. First is the conveying of the first Philippine Congress, which was held on September 15, 1898. Next is the drafting of the Malolos Constitution, and it was held on September 29, 1898 to January 21, 1899. And the last is the inauguration of the First Philippine Republic, and that was on January 23, 1899. So the architectural design of the church attracts and engages visitors because of the curved facade, rose windows, and medieval bell tower. Its floral motifs and paintings of angels and saints along the ceiling adorn the interior of the church. Barasuan Church exemplifies the typical architectural style of churches constructed during the Spanish colonial period in the Philippines. Its design adheres to straightforward and well defined lines that were in vogue during that era. The church draws inspiration from various European historical styles, predominantly the Baroque revival, resulting in an eclectic composition. This architectural approach incorporates elements from early Renaissance, Romanesque, and neoclassic styles skillfully blended into the basic facade outline. The church's facade showcases a unique oval base Baroque design, which evolved from the classical temple form. It incorporates intricate details and elements borrowed from Romanesque and neoclassic styles, meticulously integrated to achieve a harmonious composition. So let us watch what's inside of the church.
Marahil ay kilala niyo ako dahil nasa likod ako ng 10 piso noon. At meron pa ngang mga kwento na merong pusa na matatagpuan sa pagkakalimbag ng aking anyo sa naturang salapi. Hanapin niyo nga. Ako ang simbahan ng Barasuin. Kilala din ako bilang simbahan ng parokya ng Nuestra Señora del Carmen. Nagsimula ako bilang isang bisita ng Malolos. Ngunit noong 1859, naging ganap akong parokya. Maraming mga kura paroko ang nag-ambag sa pagpapatayo sa akin, ngunit marami ding beses akong nasira ng lindol at sunog. Noong 1885, sa pamumuno ng aking kura na si Padre Juan Hiron, ako ay muling itinayo bilang isang simbahang gawa sa bato. Sa tulong ng maestro de obra na si Miguel Magpayo at mga inchik na mason ng Sitio Liang. Ang mga adobe na ginamit sa pagpapatayo sa akin ay nagmula sa bayan ng May Kawayan na ibinyahe gamit ang pituya o bangka. Ako ay naging saksi sa 3 sa mga pinakamahalagang pangyayari sa kasaysayan ng Pilipinas. Pagkaraan ng Deklarasyon ng Kalayaan, inilipat ni General Emilio Aguinaldo ang pamahalaan ng Pilipinas sa Malolos. Ako ang naging lugar kung saan binuksan ang unang Kongreso ng Pilipinas. Naging saksi ako sa mga debate sa pagpapanday ng konstitusyon ng Malolos. At noong Enero 23, tatunghayan ko nang itinatag ang unang Republika ng Pilipinas, ang kauna-unahang demokrasya sa Asya, at ang inaugurasyon ni Aguinaldo bilang unang Pangulo ng Pilipinas. Ang sarap maging malaya. Idineklara ako bilang pambansang pook pangkasaysayan noong Agosto 1, 1973. Ako ay nakatirik sa isang lote na may sukat na halos 6,000 metro kwadrado, kung saan kabilang ang simbahan, ang kampanaryo, ang kumbento, ang patio sa harap, at isa pang patio sa loob. Ang aking postura ay sinasabing maraming estilo, ngunit ang kapansin-pansin ay ang mga disenyo na neoclassic at barok. Ang aking pedimento ay paalon-alon. Mayroon akong 3 pasukan na may mala-arko na hugis at suportado ng mga poste sa gilid. Ang kampanaryo sa aking kanan ay may 4 na palapag. Parisukat ang pangibaba na pinatungan ng mga oktagonal na estruktura, lumiliit habang papataas, at patulis ang tuktok. Ang patio sa aking harap ay tinayuan ng gloryeta at bantayog upang magsilbing alaala sa mga makasaysayang kaganapan na aking nasaksihan. Ang aking kumbento ay ginawang museo ng Republika ng 1899 upang magbigay kaalaman sa bagong henerasyon hinggil sa pagsilang ng ating bansa. Marami na akong pinagdaanan. Marami nang bumisita sa akin. Naging saksi ako sa mga pinakamahalagang pangyayari sa ating kasaysayan. At higit sa lahat, ako ang naging duyan ng ating bagong silang na bansa. Sa paglipas ng panahon, makakalimutan niyo kaya ako? Hanggang saan kaya ang kwento ko? Hanggang saan kaya ang buhay ko? Kayo lang ang makakasagot niyan. Kung ako lang ang inyong tatanungin, nais kong makita pa akong nakatayo ng mga susunod na henerasyon ng mga Pilipino bilang isang patunay na walang imposible kung tayo ay nagkakaisa.
So that was the presentation of the church. So as we can see, no, there's a lot of kana features talaga ang nangyayari sa simbahan. And it gives us a para bang ang sarap sa pakiramdam na this is the church of it is located in our country. So next is the Fourth Santiago. So we all know that it is located in Intramuros. So the attraction of the site is a museum where you can find a replica of Dr. Jose Rizal's prison cell before he was executed. The attraction of the site is the museum where you can find a replica of Dr. Jose Rizal as prison cell before he was executed, as I've said. Fort Santiago is the oldest Spanish bastion in the Philippines, situated inside the walled city of Intramuros in Manila. The site witnessed many historical events of the Philippines. The exact spot where Fort Santiago now stands was once a Muslim kingdom ruled by a chieftain named Raja Sulaiman. When the Spaniards landed in the Philippines in 1571, they destroyed the site and built a fortress instead, naming it after Spain's patron Saint James or Santiago in Spanish. The structure served as their defense fortress. The original fort was made of logs and soil but was torn down by Chinese pirates under the command of Limahong in 1574. It was rebuilt using carved stones and mud cement between 1589 and 1592. But a terrible earthquake in 1645 damaged most parts of the structure again. The Spaniards then reconstructed the fortress from 1658 to 1663. In 1762, the British came and ruled until 1764, using Fort Santiago as their headquarters. The Americans then arrived in 1778 and renovated the fort, which became a U.S. Army Philippines Division Command Center. And in eight and in 1942, during the World War II, the Japanese conquered the Philippines and made use of the fort as their military base and prison. It is said that they have imprisoned and tortured about 2,500 to 3,000 Filipinos and Americans in the site. In 1945, the U.S. liberation forces came and fought against the Japanese, causing severe damage to the fort. It then served as a depot of the U.S. Transportation Corps later on. The U.S. military turned over the bastion to the Philippine government in 1946, and it was announced as a Shrine of Freedom in 1950. A year later, the National Park Development Committee restored the fort and transferred it to the Intramuros administration in 1992. The solid stone structure has an Italian-Spanish architectural style. Miguel Lopez de Legazpi built the fort for the newly established Manila city and named it after Spain's patron Saint James the Great. It is also known as Forza de Santiago in Spanish or Moog ng Santiago in Tagalog. The present fort, constructed using volcanic tuff or adobe, was built between 1589 to 1592. It was named after Saint James the Moor Slayer, known by the Spanish as Santiago Matamoros. The fort is notable for being a headquarters of the armies of several foreign powers in Philippine history, including the Spanish, and that was on 1571 to 1898, and the British from 1762 through 1764 during the Seven Years' War, the Americans 1898 to 1946, and the Japanese 1942 through 1945. The Fort Santiago is presently a national shrine and national museum monument since 1951 and the national cultural treasure since 2014 up till now. So let us watch this short video presentation about the Fort Santiago inside the Intramuros.
Located just a few meters away from the Manila Cathedral and Palacio del Gobernador, Fort Santiago is one of the most significant historical sites in Manila. Join me in discovering Fort Santiago, a 400-year-old site that has stood as a witness to major milestones in Philippine history. We begin at Plaza Moriones, this open expansive space that greets visitors upon entry at the fort. Here are numerous structures, including the Baluartillo de San Francisco Javier. It served as one of the walled city's seafront defenses and storage chambers in the Spanish colonial era. During the Second World War, it was turned into a prison cell by the Japanese military. Today, it houses the Intramuros Visitor Center and several shops. This is a reducto, an independent structure outside the walls that serves as the first line of defense. It also functioned as a storage for ammunition and food supply. Today, it houses the shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe. We return to Plaza Moriones, one of the many plazas or open spaces in Intramuros. Named after the Spanish Governor General Domingo Moriones, it was once an open ground for military drills, parades, and ceremonies until its destruction in the 1863 earthquake. The US Army then took over and used it as a barracks. Now, it's an open space where events and activities in Intramuros are held. Across the plaza is the Almacenes Reales or Royal Warehouses. This was a storehouse for goods unloaded by ships at the river gate during the Manila-Acapulco galleon trade. The unreinforced stone arches, which originally supported the second floor, remain intact, a testament to the durability and timelessness of traditional architecture. Then, in this area remains the soldiers' barracks. During the Japanese occupation, former Philippine President Elpidio Quirino was imprisoned here for 16 days. This space is also used as an exhibit area by the Intramuros administration. This brass plaque contains a roll of honor and the list of survivors of Filipinos incarcerated inside Fort Santiago during World War II. This man-made canal was restored in the 1980s and connects the Pasig River to Manila Bay. The fort's entrance is guarded by two ramparts, the Baluarte de San Miguel on the left and the Medio Baluarte de San Francisco on the right. These ramparts were built in the 1600s to fortify the defenses of Fort Santiago from the river and the land. Here stands the main gate to Fort Santiago. The main gate is decorated by a wood relief carving of Spain's patron saint, Santiago Matamoros, as well as the coat of arms of the former kingdoms of Castile and Leon. Castile is represented by the castle, while the lion represents the kingdom of Leon. This was a former military headquarters of four successive colonial empires in the Far East. The pre-colonial history of Manila can also be traced in this section of Intramuros where the kingdom of Raja Sulaiman was once located. At the center of the fort proper is Plaza de Armas. It derived its name from the use of the area to stock arms and rifles when not in use. Similar to Plaza Moriones, this was also where the soldiers marched around for their daily drills. This was a two-story adobe building which housed the Spanish artillery companies. Destroyed during the Battle of Manila, this was renovated into an open-air theater for the use of the Philippine Educational Theater Association, or PETA. The main room of the Soldiers' School was converted into a chapel cell for Jose Rizal, who was transferred here after 56 days of imprisonment at the soldiers' barracks. According to the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, it was here where Jose Rizal married Josephine Bracken. This passageway, the Postigo de la Nuestra Señora de Soledad, was the main access of Fort Santiago's occupants to the Pasig River. The promenade was rehabilitated by the Intramuros administration and is now a riverside park. Here stands the Rizal Shrine. This place was the former soldiers' barracks, which had a pantry and food storage before it was used as a cell for Jose Rizal. Today, Rizal Shrine, or Museo ni Jose Rizal, pays tribute to the life work of the country's national hero through its theme settings and relics. Now, we enter the dungeons. These used to be gunpowder magazines before being converted into prison cells. After the Battle of Manila in 1945, 600 decomposing bodies of prisoners were found here. The remains were subsequently buried en masse on an open ground nearby and is marked with a white marble cross. This site used to be the Casa de Castellano, the residence of the 4th Commander. This was built in the 16th century to protect the entrance from the Pasig River. The ground floor of the Baluarte de Santa Barbara has recently been converted to an educational facility known as the I Make History Lego Education Center. Falsa Braga means false wall. This deceived the enemy and protected the fort from heavy bombardment. From a military site that bore witness to Manila's multi-layered and at times tumultuous past, Fort Santiago is today a
And that was all the presentation of the Fort Santiago. It gives us more knowledge about the place that I've never haven't discussed. So now let us proceed to the Aguinaldo Shrine and Museum. So the Aguinaldo Shrine and Museum is a national shrine in Kawit, Cavite, Philippines, where on June 12, 1898, the Philippine Declaration of Independence from Spain was proclaimed. On June 12 each year, top government officials leave the Philippine flag here to celebrate the day, now celebrated as Araw ng Kalayaan or Independence Day, a national day holiday of the Philippines. The mansion is now a museum. One of the country's most famous and significant sites is the Emilio Aguinaldo Shrine located in Kawit, Cavite, also known as the Emilio Aguinaldo House. It served as a residence and ancestral home of General Emilio F. Aguinaldo. The Emilio Aguinaldo Shrine was officially declared a national shrine after Aguinaldo's death in 1964. During the Declaration of Independence, the country's national anthem was also performed for the first time. To perpetuate the spirit of the Philippine Revolution of 1896 that ended the Spanish colonial rule in the country, Aguinaldo donated the home to the government. The Emilio Aguinaldo House features various facilities that provide visitors with knowledge, fun, relaxation. Within Emilio Aguinaldo Shrine are Aguinaldo Park. The riverside property was increased to incorporate Aguinaldo Park, a park built in front of the mansion for the 1998 Philippine Centennial celebrations. The park has two large pools and a lengthy promenade. The house used to have a busy street in front of it. A bronze statue of Aguinaldo riding a horse is also present in the park. Next is garden. The house grounds are covered in lush vegetation and are backed to the south and east by a fish pond and a river respectively. Aguinaldo's own vehicle, a 1924 Packard limousine that was repaired in November 2009, is on display outside the home. The first president is buried in a marble tomb in the midst of the garden behind the mansion. The last one is the museum. The National Historical Commission of the Philippines maintains the Aguinaldo Shrine Museum on the ground level. And now let us watch the quick tour of the mansion.
Ang Emilio Aguinaldo Shrine o mas kilala noon bilang Aguinaldo Mansions ay ang tahanan ng unang Pangulo ng Republika ng Pilipinas na si General Emilio Aguinaldo. Dito rin siya isinilang noong March 22, 1869. Ang kilalang gusali na ito sa sentro ng Kawit, Cavite ay naitayo noong 1845. Gawa ang maraming bahagi ng bahay sa kahoy. Sa tabi naman ng malawak nitong lupain, dumadaloy ang isang munting ilog. Sa bintana ng tahanang ito, ipinahayag ang kalayaan ng bansa mula sa Espanya na nagsilang naman sa unang republikang Malaya sa Asya noong 12 ng Hunyo 1898. 1990 naman nang simula ang pagpapalaki nito sa kasalukuyan nitong anyo. Nagkaroon ito ng balkonahe at mataas na tore na may 5 palapag. Maliwalas at mataas ang kisame ng mansyon na mayroong mga elementong Pilipino gaya ng araw at kalabaw. Bawat malawak nitong kwarto ay mayroong mga sekretong lagusan na nakarugtong sa iba pang bahagi ng tahanan. Utilitarian na may tuturing ang maraming bahagi ng bahay na ito ni Aguinaldo dahil sa disenyo ng kanyang tahanan ay hindi lamang palamuti, bagkus ay may espesipikong mga gamit. Dito na rin naihimlay ang general at ang pinakabatang naging pangulo ng bansa nang siya ay namatay noong 1964 sa edad na 94. Sa harap ng plaza ay naroroon ang makisig na rebulto ng bayaning naging ama ng bayan. Ang Emilio
So that was all, and now let us proceed to the ninth historic site, and this is the Santo Niño Shrine and Heritage. So the Santo Niño Shrine and Heritage Museum, colloquially referred to as the Imelda Marcos Museum, is a building in the Tacloban, Philippines. It was formerly owned by the Marcos family and now houses a museum. It was built from 1979 to 1981 by then First Lady and wife of President Ferdinand Marcos, Imelda Marcos. It was among the 20 presidential palaces built during the martial law era. The property was sequestered by the Philippine government as part of a campaign to recover the Marcos family's ill-gotten wealth. The former residential building was converted to a museum under the management of the Presidential Commission on Good Government and features the collection of Imelda Marcos, as well as artifacts related to the Santo Niño, the city's patron saint. In 2013, the museum was damaged by Typhoon Haiyan. It was later renovated. Getting technical by its name, a shrine is a holy or sacred place dedicated to a specific deity, hero, saint, or similar figure at which they are worshipped. Ironically, the building is named after the patron saint Santo Niño, yet it showcases the lifestyle of the Romualdez clan, with a collection of antique paintings, sculptures, ceramics, pottery, furniture, and fixtures from China, Vienna, Italy, Spain, and other parts of Europe from renowned and known artists. And now let us watch what's inside and what are the key features that make it special to this heritage place or mansion. was it. And now let's proceed to the last one. And this is the Bahay Chinoy Museum. Bahay Chinoy or Museum of Chinese. So, the Bahay Chinoy is a structure located in the walled city of Intramuros. The house holds in it a museum called the Kaisa Angela King Heritage Center. It shows a collection of different documents and accounts that tells the history of the ethnic Chinese lives, struggles and contributions in the country. The Kaisa Heritage Center, also known as the Bahay Chinoy, was established in 1999 by the Kaisa para sa Kaunlaran Incorporated. The museum was a project advocating the historical and cultural legacy of Chinese Filipinos in the Philippines. In the museum, guests would see how the Chinese influenced the Filipinos in different aspects of the Philippine life through statues and mannequins, dioramas portraying the events, the shape of the Filipino-Chinese history with their culture, workings, and language. The events also cover how the Chinese eventually immersed with the Filipinos and brought their families to live in the country. The museum also shows how the Chinese participated in almost all the events of the Philippines. The idea was museum was conceptualized not very long ago, but very recently in the 1990s. It was designed in 1996 by the famous designer Eva Penamora in tandem with the late architect Conrado Fernandez. Very soon, the construction was completed and the museum was inaugurated in 1999. And now let us watch the Bahay Chinoy and what are the history of it.
Ang bahay Chino o kilala bilang Chinese Filipino Auxiliary Center Maynila. Ito ay naglalaman ng mga malalim at matandang kasaysayan sa pagitan ng Pilipino at Chino.
Ang museo na ito ay idinisenyo ni Eva Penamora kasama si A.R. Conrado Fernandez noong 1996 at natapos noong 1999. Ang arkitektura nito ay hango sa American Colonial na may 3 palapag. Ito ay pagmamayari ng Kaisa para sa Kaunlaran Incorporated. Ang Kaisa para sa Kaunlaran Incorporated ay isang non-profit organization na itinatag ni Teresita Ang C. Ang misyon ng Kaisa para sa Kaunlaran Incorporated ay makapag-ambag ng lugar kung saan pwedeng tangkilikin ng mga kapwa nating Pinoy ang mga likha nila rito.
Ang museo ito ay may 3 palapag na kung saan may ilagay na temperatura na nagpapanatili ng mga wax figures nito. Ang malamig na temperatura ay lubos na kinakailangan upang hindi matunaw ang mga wax figure na nasa loob ng Bahay Chinoy. Ang exhibit nito ay sadyang makatotohanan dahil sa mga disenyo nito. Makikita rito ang iba't ibang uri ng manggagawa at kung ano ang mga tinitinda nila. Sa loob ng Bahay Chinoy sa unang palapag, makikita mo kaagad ang isang malaking barko na gawa sa kahoy. Marahil ito ang ginagamit nila sa transportasyon sa kanilang pakikipagkalakalan noong unang panahon. Kapag umakyat ka naman sa 2 palapag ng museo ay makikita mo ang wax figure ng ating magiting na bayani na si Dr. Basaliza. Makikita mo rin ang isang hologram na nagpapakita ng pagbabago ng ekonomiya mula noon hanggang ngayon. Ang pagkakasunod-sunod ng section dito ay early contacts, the Parian colonial culture, emergence of the Chinese community in defense of freedom, life in the 1800s, national leaders of Chinese descent, gallery of rare prints and photographs, and Martyrs Hall ceramic collection.
That was it. So now let us all know what are the importance or why is it important to know the historical sites of our country? So the heritage of a place is what sets it apart from all other places. Preserving places remembers the past while preparing for the future. So are you aware for our quote that the past is a doorway to the future? Preserving places saves the culture of the persons who came before. Preserving cultural and historical sites has benefits realized over time and not immediate returns. That is what that is why it is important to preserve the Filipino cultural heritage because it gives us a purpose and meaning of our lifestyle then and now. It showcases our beliefs and traditions, gives form and shape to our values, customs, and aspirations, and mold and ensure our identity as Filipinos. It showcases our beliefs and traditions, gives form and shape to our values, customs, and aspirations. According to Cynthia McLaglen, everything about the human's history is important to us. The more information we can gather, the more we can fill in the gaps in history. They connect us to the past. Through visiting these places where history occurred, we find our roots. History allows us to feel like we are part of something much bigger. It humbles us while inexplicably making us feel stronger because we come from a long line of survivors and special because we are part of this vast chain of humanity. And that was all my report, and these are my references. And thank you everyone for listening to my report. Have a pleasant day, everyone. Bye.